Hello. In this video, we are going to take you through a full end-to-end walkthrough of CloudSense's CPQ and order management solution, Telco One. For this demo, we'll play the role of a telecommunications company selling a domestic connectivity solution to our customer, AusInsure. AusInsure provide insurance products and services across Australia, and we've been in talks with them about connecting up their various sites. They are interested, but don't want to go into a detailed process just yet. For now, they just want a quote to see how we compare to our competitors. So let's go into the CloudSense Quick Quote capability. And we need to provide access components, internet services, and routers across their sites. So here is a direct view of the CloudSense commercial catalog. We can drill through the categories and select our products and services, which appear listed at the bottom of our screen. When we are happy with those, we can add them to our shopping cart. As we do that, CloudSense gives us the option of including any add-ons that have been configured against the products. So the Access product has professional services and SLA add-ons, while the router and internet service do not have add-ons. Let's select 10 days for professional services and add it to our cart. If we take a look at the cart now, you can see both recurring charges and one-off charges have been retrieved immediately from the CloudSense commercial catalog using the advanced pricing service. But this is just for one site, and AusInsure has many more. So we can very quickly add more sites to each of these products, and you can see how the price immediately updates. And that's it, done. Very quick. This quick quote capability skips things like serviceability checks or site-specific information, and allows us to provide the quote that AusInsure wanted to compare us to our competitors. Finally, let's give the cart a name and generate the document using CloudSense's document generation capability. Now that this is done, all we need to do is send that out to our customer at AusInsure, who is very impressed with the speed we delivered the quote as well as the competitive prices, and is looking forward to working with us further to get a more detailed quote configuration across those sites. So now we move on from the quick quote and into our opportunity. So we create a standard opportunity in Salesforce with a summary of the deal here, details such as total opportunity value, close dates, and so on. And some empty data fields because we haven't configured anything yet. So we go into the CloudSense Solution Management Console, where we can begin to configure a new solution for AusInsure's various sites. Here we can view all the solutions that have been modeled within the CloudSense catalog. We have SD-WAN, IoT, mobility, domestic connectivity, fixed and hosted voice, as well as the generic solution. These solutions come out of the box as part of any CloudSense Telco One deployment and are based on best practice product modeling that CloudSense has honed over the past 15 years. The exception is the generic solution, which enable products that haven't been modeled within the CloudSense catalog to be included alongside products that have. This, incidentally, allows deployment of CloudSense Telco One to happen more quickly, since we do not have to wait for all products to have been modeled before we can go live, which presents value back to the business much more quickly. We're focusing on domestic connectivity, and at the moment the solution is invalid, because we need to populate some mandatory information. So let's configure different products and services that make up the solution. As we go through, keep an eye on the right-hand side where you will see the pricing summary change as we go through. The first thing we need to do is identify a contract term. Let's put 12 months, and you can see that the validation warning message has gone away. Now, because this is a site-based solution, we enter our site addresses and then do a serviceability check against each of those addresses. So let's go into address management. We have a full demo of address management's capabilities in another video. But briefly for now, we can import addresses from the opportunity if we have stored addresses against the opportunity. We can import them from the account if we have stored them against the account. We can add them manually ourselves, or we can import them from a file provided by the customer, which is what we'll do now. You can see some addresses are already in the system against the account, so are validated, while others are not in the system and require validation. So now let's validate each of these addresses. We do this by clicking Select All and then Validate Addresses. Telco One has been created with an integration framework that allows it to hook into any address verification system that you might use. Now it looks like all of them are valid except one, Tanner Street. So what do we do now? If we know that the address is correct but is coming up as incorrect on the system, we can do a manual address override. This adds the address to the list, making it serviceable. So that's all the addresses added. Now we need to check which products and services are available at those addresses. We make sure all our addresses are selected and click Availability Check. This hooks into northbound serviceability checking systems, which will return the products and services that are available to each of our addresses. Now we can add products to individual addresses and filter the address list if we need to. For now, we'll just select a 100 megabyte access component and apply it to all the addresses. Now we can add our internet service. We'll pick a 100 meg internet service and apply that to all our addresses, and add those addresses onto our solution. And as you can see now, the pricing responds in real time. We get dynamic feedback about what parts of the solution now need to be completed or fixed with these error symbols. Let's do those bits now. The access component has a mandatory attribute, router options, so we need to pick a router to go across our sites. You have a choice of creating a new router, choosing an existing one, or BYO, bring your own. But this time we have to create a new one. You'll see that the access component is now valid, but we need to identify the router required. We'll have a managed router, we'll have active wireless access, and we'll select a Cisco option. Again, watch how the pricing summary changes in real time on the right-hand side. And now CloudSense is happy with the configuration of the access component. Now we need to configure the internet service across the sites. So same thing again here, we need to add a router. Since we just added the Cisco one, we can select existing router and add it again. And now everything is configured to CloudSense's satisfaction. Before we move on, let's have a quick look at frame agreements. You can see on the right-hand side that we have Cisco routers across the sites, coming to a price of $105,400 when you combine the recurring and one-off charges. But as it happens, we have a frame agreement in place with Osinsure, giving them a discount against Cisco routers. So let's apply that frame agreement. And watch what happens to the router pricing on the right. It has now gone down from $105,400 to $66,300. Right, let's say we need to update some of the products and services. Currently, all of the sites are using a 100 megabyte access and 100 megabyte internet service. But the site in Brisbane on Elizabeth Street is the HQ and requires more bandwidth. To sort this out, we go back into the Access tab and select Elizabeth Street, and then split Elizabeth Street from the rest. And that gives us two configurations. The original one is now being applied to all but one site, and the remaining one is being applied to the HQ on Elizabeth Street. Let's go back into address availability for Elizabeth Street and select the 1 gigabyte access instead. And now you can see two configurations with two different access components. The pricing has also been updated, so there are two pricing options now. What we want to highlight here is that the sales user can make changes as they go along, without having to start again from the beginning if they make a mistake. CloudSense always enforces the compatibility logic, so mistakes can't be made at any point in the configuration process. CloudSense recognizes the importance of having a site-based view of things. So under this tab, we offer a single view of all sites with their related configurations. So we can click through all of these and the configuration won't change because they are all the same. But when we get to Elizabeth Street in Brisbane, you'll see that the access component changes according to our recent updates. Click into any of the options and you will see further attributes, linked configurations, and add-ons. So now our customer gets back to us to say that they've decided they don't need 1 GB for their HQ, they just need 500 megabytes or even just 100 megabytes like their other sites. In this scenario, you need a quick and easy way to present the customer with quote variations so they can choose the most suitable. So let's go into our quote variations. And here we choose a 100 megabyte option and a 500 megabyte option. Hit apply. And now we generate our document. The generated document is stored in the system against the opportunity. As we go into the opportunity, you can see that the deal summary has been updated. Let's go into Notes and Attachments and click on the quote document. And we've got our quotation here with the details of our 16 sites and the headquarters site with the 1 GB access. And it also shows our quote variations with the different recurring charges clearly displayed. So our customer has received this, and after looking at the quote variations, they decided that they only need 500 megabyte access at the HQ after all. So we, in the role of sales user, can simply come back to the solution, go to quote variations and select 500 megabytes. Watch what happens to the price. You'll see it update on the right hand side, and you'll see the configuration update on the left. So now we have a completed solution configuration. The quote's gone out to the customer, they have signed off, and everyone is happy. Now we need to supplement the commercial configuration with any additional non-commercial and technical data. This is the data that's going to be required by the downstream systems to provision the services the customer has purchased. Now, playing the role of a solution consultant, let's enter the order enrichment console. This is where we can add the non-commercial data manually. Or we can load a CSV file that's been provided. So it's very easy to add order enrichment data. Let's just save this quickly. The last thing we need to do is synchronize the solution with our opportunity. What this will do is create all the opportunity products, attach them to the opportunity, and update the opportunity value, and display all the line items here. So all we have to do is submit the order into CloudSense Order Management for commercial order orchestration. And here's our order. We can drill down into this and view all its contents. And you can see the orchestration process executing against each of the services. As that's happening, let's go to our HQ. You can have a look at the process to see what milestones we have reached. Click Order Delivery, and we can drill down further and see the process being executed. And now you can see that the status has gone to live. And that concludes this end-to-end demonstration of Telco One by CloudSense.